Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone, wherever you are in the world. We welcome you to our monthly training. I'm Lucy, and with me today and helping me to field questions is Maggie from Ireland. I was going to cover the keyboard shortcuts in full today. I want to review those because I think they're so important to have a good experience of SHS to understand what some of these keyboard shortcuts are so that you can navigate around the program very easily. So I will cover those. But are there any questions to get us started, Maggie, about?
Yes, actually, Lucy, there's quite a long question there in the chat. Could you take a look at that?
Oh, let me see. Okay. So this looks like a big review of its patient management, um, the use of the modules, VQ notes, which only if you have purchased that expert module can you access the VQ notes and the vital quest analysis, sensation analysis. So should we start there, Maggie, do you think?
Yeah, I think so, Lucy. Yeah.
Okay, let me open SHS here. The first part of that question is all about patient management. In order to access patient management, you come here to this icon on the left that's a folder. You can come here. There's two places to access it. You can also access all parts of patient management up here at the top. You can create a new patient, save a clipboard, or save information that you've put into the chart regarding diagnosis, prescription. That's what this save is for. You can save to an existing patient that you've already created, and you can just view your list of patients. So either way, now this here, this opens, if you have opened a chart, this is the way to access it quickly by clicking this icon. Or if you haven't yet opened a chart, you can open it by clicking this icon. But if you don't have any charts open yet, and you need to open a chart that you've already created, you must come up to the top menu. Now, one of the questions was, let me open the chat box again. In the data given by the patient, there's a box which that describes type of patient, what's meant by that, and the status. Okay, so let's go to the top. Patient type. So basically, we used to have a drop down that said human, and I think, anyway, there's some veterinarians in our homeopathic community. And so here, you know, if you're a veterinarian, you might put the type of animal that it is. Perhaps, you know, it's a cat or a horse. But otherwise, it's human, a human case. And you don't necessarily need to fill that out. Now, nothing has to be filled out here except for first name. Do you see the asterisk here right after it says first name? That's actually the only box that must be filled in order to save a chart. And the status, you know, that when we had the drop down menu, I believe it was married, unmarried, you know, but we left it free and open. So because you can either put one of those types of statuses or not. So it's there if you want it, but you don't have to use it, certainly. All right, so that's that about the patient management information. And the next one box says prescription, one box pharmacy. Okay, so this is good. We're kind of diving deep into the patient chart. I'm going to scroll down. If you were familiar with the old program, there were various things that you could click. One was patient information, one was notes you could fill in. It's all here. It's all here in this where you can scroll down and see everything. You've got your consultation date here. This is where you can change. Let's say that you had a patient come to see you over the weekend and you haven't entered it yet. You can backdate, you know, here and make it go backwards in time. If you want it to be like October something, change the date here, and you can do that. Symptoms, and some of these boxes have formatting and some don't. So you might prefer the formatting where you could bold or underline something. Previous treatments, diagnostics, patient notes, comments. Here you can upload something related to your case, for instance, lab work or a photograph perhaps of a skin condition. You can upload PDF, JPEG, DocX, or PNG files, and they get saved to that session. And you're asked to say where you want to save this. Up in user preferences, patient management settings, just check and see where your attachment files are going. This is where you would select where your attachment files go for the patients. Okay, so I'm going to close that. And then once you have analyzed your case and decided what you want to give, this is where you fill that in. Put the remedy, the potency. Pharmacy is where you got it. Helios, Hahnemann Labs, INE, whatever the pharmacy might be. How many times per day, reason and comments. Again, these do not have to be filled in. None of these boxes have to be filled in except for the first name. And of course, after you've completed your clipboard, that's what you save. That's you save information you've put into the chart here, first name, absolutely, anything else that you want to put in. And then you also save the clipboard by hitting this button or coming up here and hitting save. So that's pretty much what those boxes are for. I hope I've explained that pretty well. The use of the modules. I'm not going to get into VitalQuest today. That's we have some training videos on VitalQuest in our YouTube channel that Paresh Vasani has done, and he's the expert on VitalQuest. He, I think he has an hour-long one, then he has a shorter 16, 17-minute one. But basically, he gives you good information about VitalQuest. And again, this is not something that comes with every program. You have to order it and add it onto your program. It's an expert module related to sensation analysis. So that's the VitalQuest. What's modules? I think this is what you meant when you were saying what's modules. If you have purchased Mahesh Gandhi's book, the Personal Evolution Module, I think it's called, not module. Anyway, Mahesh Gandhi's book or Vermeulen's plant book. So I'm going to go to my reference library. Both of those are reference books, and I'm going to put in Gandhi to find that book. Whoops, do I not have it? Okay, I haven't selected that book, so I actually don't have it. Let me see if I have yes, I do have the Vermeulen plant books. And so I do have those. If you open it in reference library, it presents like this, where you come in and you read general information, features and properties and such about each remedy. The authors wanted all the kingdoms to be connected. So when you purchase plants, you then have access to the Vermeulen modules, and it presents the information in a different way so that you can group the remedies together in their families. So that's the module area. Okay, all right. Any other questions?
Yes, Peggy E. Denton is asking, can you merge a patient that has 2 sessions? Can you merge the 2 sessions? So the 2 consultations.
Yeah. I've never tried to do it. I'm thinking in my head how to do that. There's no straightforward way to do it. I think what you would need to do is open both charts. We can try something here. I'm going to open 2 charts. get my clipboards up. Okay, so right now I'm in chart test 1. Do you see how that is it's the dark blue at the top. I've got these 2 clipboards here. And so I'm going to open up clipboard number 4. And what I'm going to do is copy. I'm going to select all. I'm going to copy those. I'm going to open a new clipboard, And I'm going to paste by Command V. I'm pasting what I just copied. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to go to the second clipboard and I'm going to do the same thing. Command A selects all of it. Command C copies it. I want to open a new clipboard by clicking on this last icon right above the clipboards. And I'm going to paste all those six rubrics into clipboard number 4. Okay. All right. So there's that. It's populating there. Okay. And so now I'm going to go back here to where I have the 2 charts open. I'm going to close test 1. That's going to be one that I delete later if I'm trying to merge. And by the way, if there's any information in here, of course, you're going to want to copy that over as well. So I don't know if you've opened a new chart and accidentally put a clipboard in it, or if you actually put more information in it, but just be aware of what you might have over here on the right side as well. So I'm going to close this chart. And now okay. And so now I'm in KS test. And it looks like, it's very interesting because it looks like I still have clipboard number 1 open. I might have carried that over to KS. Yeah, it's interesting. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hit save. And all of them are going to come over now. And so now I have all of those clipboards that were that were on that other chart in this one. And when I close it, they all go away because now they're in the new one. So, again, there's no straightforward way to merge 2. If you see here, we don't have any kind of merge button, but that's the long way around that you can go about it. Now, to avoid having to merge 2 charts, I would just caution you and just say, when you are saving a clipboard, you just want to make sure that you are putting it in the correct chart. And okay, did that answer the question? I hope.
I hope so. But Peggy, if you have anything else on that, will you let us know? And also while you're doing that, Lucy, there was another question around how do you move rubrics from one clipboard to another? And you were doing that quite fast there, but there's several ways to do it. So could you just do that again, just to show?
Oh, sure, absolutely. So what I'll do is I will throw some more rubrics on a clipboard. We'll just get any rubrics and okay. And so we've got these 3 rubrics on this clipboard number 1. And if we want to move this one to a different clipboard, you can do it 2 ways. See, I'm a keyboard shortcut person. I really like the keyboard shortcuts. And so on a Mac, to copy that is Command C. On a Windows computer, it's Control C. But you can also choose to right click and copy. On a Mac, like for instance, I'm on a Mac and I have a mouse connected to my laptop and it allows me to right click. But if you have a trackpad, you can do Control click with the trackpad. Hold down the Control key as you click on the trackpad. I was told just last night actually that the very new Macs, the latest versions of Macs, have a area on the trackpad that allows right clicking now. So that's interesting to know. All right, so I'm going to copy the rubric, whichever way you want to do it. And then I'm going to open a new clipboard by clicking on this last icon right above the clipboards. I'm going to open my new clipboard by clicking on it, turning it blue and aqua, and then I'll click within the clipboard. I don't know if you heard it or saw it, but I just made a little click where it's in this clipboard. And now I'm going to use my keyboard shortcut, Command V, you can do, or right click and paste. So you can paste it with the right click, or you can use a keyboard shortcut of Command or Control V. Okay, so there, I went slower that way that time.
Or you can drag and drop it, Lucy, yeah?
Ah, okay. So, you know, it's funny, I never do that. I should do that more because that's easy. And so if I've got both clipboards open, wait, let me just position them in such a way. I'm going to toggle away from my graph so that I can show you, sorry, away from my clipboard. My graph is going the other way, toggling. Here we are. And on clipboard number 2 here, I'm going to again toggle. And I want to show you how easy it is, first of all, to have 2 clipboards where you can actually see them together. And, you know, the window resizing is really nice and easy. So here I have this. Let's say I want to put head abscess on clipboard number 2. I'm going to click and drag, just like that. Maggie, does it also, I don't do this very often, Maggie. Does it also work to, for instance, drag it to the icon on the
Yes.
left? Okay, so you can do that as well. So if I highlight this top rubric that we don't have on clipboard number 2 yet, I can click, hold, and drag it to clipboard number 2. And there, it did it that way as well. Any other questions?
No, not at the moment.
Okay. Well, I had a plan to show you, to review. I think we've here and there reviewed keyboard shortcuts, but I want to give a real in-depth review of keyboard shortcuts today. And feel free to ask questions as I go along. All the keyboard shortcuts are found here. Some of these need to be revised. I was going through the list, and for instance, Command Q down here is actually closing the program, and Command W closes a window. Little things like that, and I've let development know. But this is where you find the keyboard shortcut list under the Help menu here. And I'm going to go into Repertory Module, and I'll show you the keyboard shortcuts there first. So one of them relates to the arrows on your keyboard. Let's say we go into the Vertigo chapter. Now, I have the view where I'm not looking at remedies. I am looking at the remedy counts. I am not looking at sub-rubrics because you can see the plus sign there. That means I have sub-rubrics turned off and I need to navigate into them. The best way to do that is to use those arrows on your keyboard. So they go up, down, left, and right. I'm going to use my down arrow to get down into, let's say I want the noon, Vertigo at noon, but I want to see the sub-rubrics. I'm going to hit the right directional arrow. That takes me one step in to the sub-rubrics. And so now at what we call the breadcrumb string up here, you can see that noon popped up here to the top, and I'm looking at the sub-rubrics of noon. And then if, you can tell that there are additional sub-rubrics. Let's say that we wanted to see what the sub-rubrics under eating are. Now, I have eating highlighted. That is a 0 count rubric, so you would not be able to take it to a clipboard. So you would have to go into the sub-rubrics. I'm going to hit the right directional arrow, and you can see that you can actually go further and go to after sub-rubrics. Okay, and so now I have gone deep, 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 one step at a time. Vertigo after eating at noon. and this is it's ameliorated. Vertigo is ameliorated after eating at noon. It's one remedy. I have remedies turned off, but if I wanted to see what remedy that was real quickly, I can hit my space bar. This is another keyboard shortcut, and that shows up the remedy. And then when you let go of the space bar, boom, the remedy is gone. All right, and then to get back, using the left directional arrow, I can go back one step at a time. So here I am again. Here, I'm going back to eating. I'm going back to noon. I'm going back to the top of vertigo. So the left arrow gets you back one step at a time. Now let's say that we wanted to go somewhere quickly. Let's go back to where we were. Okay, here we are again. And let's say, okay, I'm done with the vertigo chapter. I want to just go back to the picture icons. You can come up here to the breadcrumb string and click on reliable repertory, and then you're boom, right back here. And so that's the way the arrows help you to navigate. Now let's go back into vertigo for just a moment. I scrolled down to a rubric that I already see. If you know of a rubric, you know, that you know is way further down, a main rubric that you know is way further down the list, you don't have to hit the arrow repeatedly. You can actually go find that rubric. Let me think of a vertigo rubric. So let's say that talking makes vertigo. Well, let's go into the subrubrics because that's a 0 count rubric as well. Okay, vertigo while talking. I hit the T on my keyboard to jump myself down from noon to talking. So I didn't have to scroll all the way down. So those the letters on your keyboard allow you to jump around the chapter so that you don't have to scroll. And so here I am in the subrubric of talking. I'm going to go ahead and put that on a clipboard. Just, you know, I'm going to start gathering some rubrics, more rubrics on the clipboard, because I'm going to show you keyboard shortcuts on the clipboard. And so now I'm going to go back to the reliable repertory, and you see how vertigo has a square around it? You can also use the arrows to get yourself to a different chapter. Let's say we want to go to the cough chapter. I've used my arrow to get myself there. I'm hitting the return key to open it. Now I'm in the cough chapter. Now, let's say that you normally have remedies turned off, but maybe you want them turned on for this chapter. A keyboard shortcut is to hit Shift Spacebar, and then they just turn on. You don't have to hold the spacebar down. They're just on. You can also do that by coming to the I in this chapter. Remember, it's the I in this chapter, and turning on that you want the remedies. But you know, that's a couple of clicks, 3 clicks. If you're here, and then you have to go from no remedies to here, that's a click, and then you have to hit OK, that's 3 clicks. So the keyboard shortcut to just do Shift Spacebar to get all your remedies showing is to me more efficient. I'm going to go ahead and throw this on a clipboard. The way I'm doing that is you highlight a rubric that you want and you hit return or enter on your keyboard. All right. Any questions so far?
There is a question from Dr. Muhammad. How to find a rubric within a particular remedy?
Okay. Sorry, I'm just so there are several ways you can do that. If you're wanting to, for instance, filter for a remedy, is that what he wants to do, Maggie?
Yeah. Yeah, you can either filter or you can put the remedy name after the thing on your global search bar.
Right. Yeah. And so you can either filter for the remedy right here in the repertory that you want to use. Let's say we wanted borax, BOR, period. I'm going to put select borax. I'm going to hit apply. Now, let's say you wanted to see all the vertigo rubrics about borax. I come into the vertigo chapter. And I'm not sure why it's taking this long. It usually doesn't take this long. This search.
What did you search for?
Yeah, let's do it there. That should have come up, guys. I don't know. I've been fiddling around with my, that shouldn't matter. Okay, so let's do borax up here. I typed the abbreviation and I stopped typing at the end of the abbreviation. And I'm going to find that remedy. Maybe I don't. Where is that remedy? Do I have the right abbreviation?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do a different. one. We'll do sulfur. Okay. So here's the sulfur remedy. I'm going to use this drop-down menu, and where it says sulfur with the abbreviation and remedy in blue in parentheses, I'll select that. Turn it. See, it turned blue up here. And now I can type vertigo and I can see everything there is to see about vertigo and sulfur in global search. You can also see it came up here, and in the reliable repertory, there's result in all these chapters that you see. All these books that you see in global search also have a result. So when you use global search, the program is looking in every single book. And obviously when you're in the repertory module, you've picked one repertory. So this is a great way to find your result in all your books. And you've also gotten a result in your Materia Medica. So if you come over here to the reference library tab, you can see that it's the one remedy, sulfur, and this is all the information from your Materia Medica on that remedy. And you'll notice that quite a few of these results are coming from a reversed book. You can also go look at reference library, go find one of your reversed repertories. Let's go find the reliable reversed. I'm going to open that book up and I'm going to use my down arrow to get my, see how the highlight is now on the remedy names instead of the book name. You have to do that in order to use this 3-letter shortcut I'm going to show you. Once you have the remedies highlighted here, I'm going to hit SUL and it jumps me down to remedies, you know, the sulfurish remedies. And here's sulfur. So I'm going to click sulfur and now you'll see the reversed repertory rubrics. And here we have a wheel again. Here we go. Okay, and so now you're looking at all the rubrics under this one remedy. And so that's another way to look at that. And, you know, you can either scroll in the order that it goes here, or if you want to go straight to the vertigo chapter, you could click on a chapter. Did that answer your question, hopefully?
Hopefully so. There's another question from Dr. Muhammad as well, wanting to know how to view cross rubrics and how to select cross rubrics. I've actually answered with a text, but maybe you could show it, Lucy.
Cross rubrics or cross references?
Oh, sorry, cross references.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually one of the keyboard shortcuts that I wanted to show. So let me go back to repertory module by clicking this icon here. There's a keyboard shortcut to get you back to repertory module. And you know, it's no quicker probably than going up and clicking this icon. But if you hit Command 1 or Control 1, Command 1 on your keyboard gets you back to repertory module. So that's another keyboard shortcut. So let's go. Here I am. If I want, I'm going to turn off that filter, by the way. by clicking on the purple circle that was lit up. You can either have cross-references turned on all the time by coming to the main page here with the picture icons, and you would click cross-references here and then hit OK. And that would keep cross-references turned on all the time for all your books. But sometimes cross-references do take up a lot of room. So I keep them turned off, and I want to show you the keyboard shortcut about how to turn them on within a chapter. So I'm going to go to the Mind chapter, and to turn on the cross-references here, I'm simply going to hit Command U, and you can see how much room they can take up. This one rubric, Abandoned, has numerous cross references that you can go to. You would click on one to go to that cross reference. And in the program you're looking at now, if you guys are following along with your own programs, you will not see remedy counts after the cross references. As I said, this is a beta of the version that's coming. And so when you update to our next version, which will be 133, you also will have remedy counts after the cross references. And so I've turned on cross references for the Mind chapter, but when I go back here and open a new chapter, let's say I go to Cough, you're not going to see cross references because the Command U was a temporary turn on of cross references in that Mind chapter, but you can turn them on here as well. Command U, and there you see the cross references. Or, if you're somebody that always wants to see them all the time, then certainly go back to this main picture icon page and go ahead and turn them on. So I'm going to do that. I've turned them on, and now you can see that they're on, and Command U turned them off. So when you have them on all the time, you can turn them off with Command U. It goes either way. All right. Another thing I want to show you is that if you're somebody who wants to, I showed you how you can get to subrubrics with the arrows, one step at a time. Here we are on Abandon. I'm going to hit the right arrow to go into subrubrics. Okay, there's one little thing there. Let's go back. You can also, if you want to just see the subrubrics there on the screen, on the window, you can hit Command Y. Whoops, that wasn't supposed to happen. Let's hit no there. Let's go back here. I'm going to hit Command Y. And now what that did is, instead of seeing the plus signs that show you, okay, there's subrubrics there, you're actually looking at the subrubrics. So you can see, like under Abrupt, these 4 subrubrics, and then under Rough, you've got another subrubric. So you can turn them on, and then I'm going to do Command Y again and turn them off again. Now we're back to the plus signs. Okay, so those are very helpful commands, I think. I showed you how that you can open the repertory module with Command 1. So that's how you can do that. To open the reference library, you can do Command 2. There's reference library. A clipboard, the active clipboard is Command 3. Okay. Kingdom graph would be Command G, which I can show you if you wish. Okay, Command G. And that pie chart relates to the active clipboard. To open your charts of active patients, people you have in there, is Command O. Okay, I just hit Command O to get to this. it's the same way of coming up here and clicking View Patients. To close a window, Command W. So if I want to close this patient list, Command W will do that. Close the Kingdom Graph area, Command W will do that. Close the clipboard. It closes whatever window is active. The active window is the one that has the darker blue at the top. Okay. And then of course, if I were to hit Command Q, that would close down SHS altogether. All right, let's go. Any questions, Maggie?
No, not at the moment.
Okay, let's go into the clipboard. And if you want to delete a rubric, then let's delete head abscess, for instance, highlight it. You can either right click and hit delete this way, or the shorter way in my mind is to highlight it and hit delete on your keyboard, and that gets rid of it. Grading rubrics. If you want to give a rubric more weight, let's say you wanted to give the vertigo, talking aggravates your vertigo. Let's say you wanted to give that more emphasis. It's right click and find the grade here and hit the, let's say you wanted to grade it a 3, you would click that 3, or you can just highlight it and hit the 3 on your keyboard. That's a lot quicker. And then any of the numbers, you can bring it back out of that grade by hitting 0, neutralizes it, takes it back to where the default where it was. And if you want to take the weight of, you don't want to delete the rubric, but you want to remove the weight of it from the graph analysis, you can highlight it and hit a minus sign. And you see what that did. It one-lined it, kept it on your clipboard, but you can see on the graph side, it's taken all the information out. So what you see in the graph now is not counting that rubric. And then of course you can bring it back by highlighting it and hitting 0. And now it's back. We talked about copying and selecting, copying and pasting rubrics. Another thing you can do is take rubrics up to elimination by selecting them all, Command or Control A. Now you could click, hold, and drag them up to one of the elimination windows, or you can just hit Command plus, and that puts all of those rubrics that I selected up here in elimination. You could also have hit, let me X out of here, and you have these highlighted still. I can hit Command minus and take them to the minus sign. What this did is, you see, when there's a plus sign there, you haven't selected anything for crossing. You have to turn the minus, and so when you take them all to the minus sign, you're crossing all of them. So you can select certain ones you want to cross, take them up to the minus sign, and then just those selected ones will be crossed. And you can see that with all these rubrics, only 3 are in common between all of these rubrics, and you can see where they are you can see what they are by showing the graph there. You can see all those remedies are contained in each one of those rubrics in varying grades. Any questions?
Dr. Mohammed is saying that some rubrics are very important and some are not. So how to manage them?
Well, again, the grading is how I would handle that. If you're, you're over here and the vertigo while talking is very important. Let me turn this off. I clicked the purple circle to remove that elimination filter. So we're coming back over here. You think that the vertigo while talking is the critical rubric in this case, just saying. Maybe you want to grade it a 3 or a 4. So you've got it highlighted and you would just hit 3 if you want to grade it a 3. And now this one is more the analysis is, and you might have to come over here. This doesn't change automatically. Most rubrics considering intensity, you would select that and hit OK. And then it would be weighted more.
Okay.
If in your own 132 program, we're refining this. And so wait till 133 before you, I mean, this, you can try it out certainly, but we've refined it in 133 where the strategy has more refinement.
Dr. Mohammed is asking, and Chris is asking about elimination. Could you show some more about elimination, Lucy,
Okay,
please?
sure. All right, I have a video about elimination, by the way, in the short videos up in our YouTube channel. So let's say that, you know, okay, you thought that the talking was the most important and head in the afternoon. I'm going to select these two. These two, I want to see these crossed because I want to see what remedies are in both of these rubrics that I consider to be very important to the case. So I've got those two selected. I'm going to use my keyboard shortcut I just showed you, and I'm going to hit Command minus to take it up to the minus sign to get those crossed. Oh, okay, you know what? Because I had done it before, let me remove the two that I don't want. Okay, so now I've got the two that I actually want to see crossed, and you can see that between these two rubrics, there are 4 remedies, and you can hit show graph to see what those are. Now, that means that you probably want the remedy that you give to be one of these 4. And again, this is a very small clipboard, and I picked, you know, but if you consider those 2 of the most important rubrics in your case, then you want to select a remedy that's in those 2 rubrics. And so that's what this is showing you, that these are the remedies that cross between those 2. Does that make sense? And you can play around by on the plus side. Let's take them all to the plus side. Let me just do that, and I'm gonna select them all again, and I'm gonna hit Command plus. Oh, I want to show you one more thing, which is combining, and that's another keyboard shortcut. Now, when you take all your rubrics up to the plus side, that allows you to sort of play around with them. You see they're all plus right now. And so you can choose different ones to become minus and see how those cross. When you select one to become minus, it jumps down to the bottom. Don't let that throw you. So I've, you know, selected these 2, and you can go look and see how those have crossed. You can make that a plus again and choose something different, you know, so you can play around with the rubrics when you've taken them to the plus side. When you take them to the minus side, you're crossing. When you take them to the plus side, you can play around. I hope that makes sense. Let me show you one more thing I did want to show you. Let's say that you wanted to combine head affectations in general with head in the afternoon. You want to put these 2 together so that the weight on that head symptom is more equalized with the vertigo and the cough. So I've selected them, and you can come up here and hit this make group folder, or if you're using a keyboard shortcut, you can just hit the plus sign on your keyboard, and then this window pops up, and you put head symptoms, or you name it however you want to name it, and you hit OK. And you can see what's underneath that combined rubric on the clipboard side, and on the graph side, it's just showing up as the name of the combined rubric. So that's another keyboard shortcut that I hadn't covered yet. I think I've covered pretty much all the keyboard shortcuts I wanted to, though. Are there any questions?
Chris was asking, you know, if you grade the rubric on the clipboard, then does the remedy need to match that grade in order to be shown?
No.
So I'm just explaining the difference, yeah.
Yeah. Because see, when a remedy is graded, that takes place way back in the days of the proving of the remedy. The higher a remedy is graded, the more that remedy showed up in a proving. So, for instance, liking ice cream. A lot of people who have, helped to prove phosphorus craved ice cream, liked ice cream. Or in clinical settings, if it turned out that phosphorus cured, and it turned out perhaps that person liked ice cream, that's just like a really strong connection. That's, a grade 4. That takes place in provings and clinical proof. Whereas when you're grading rubrics, that just means you want that rubric, that symptom, to have more importance. I hope that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? We've got a few more minutes.
No, not at the moment.
Okay. Well, we can end early, a few minutes early, if nobody has any more questions. Thank you all for coming. I really appreciated being here with you today. Our next training will be the first Friday in December. And it will be, if you're in the United States, this doesn't apply to Europe, or does it, Maggie? It's going to be at 10 o'clock if you're on the East Coast, or, it goes back 1 hour because this weekend we have daylight saving time ending. So the time change is a little bit, throws people off sometimes. But just be aware, look at your notices that come in so that you can tell what time you get started that first Friday in December. So thanks so much, everyone. I appreciate you being here. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next time.